Racing games. Do you love them? Do you hate them? That's the feeling everyone has when they come across NASCAR 69 and the only thing they changed was the way the tires look in the rain. Well, I'm here to say that WRC 6 is a game that I can't stop playing, but it's a game that I can tell is probably only going to get worse from here. The game will probably feel like WRC 69 since games like these will always keep the same feeling to keep the same audience. But since this game is very well the first of the series that I have played, that I know of, I think it's going to be rated a tad bit higher. Now, this review is also a little different, and being one of the first uploads of the new season, I'll think I'd explain it here. There are 3 types of games and I want to cover them all. There are the very small indie games, titles that can be finished in a day, and all that content can be put into a single video with other small games. The other tier is slightly larger indie games, and games like this which don't have a lot of content, and so will have a smaller videos, around 1,500 to 2,000 words or more. And of course, the AAA and large games will have the normal 3,000 or more. Anyways, let's get started, and without any of the story or gameplay cards, and all just placed together. World Rally Championship 6 is a rally car racing game and has been grabbing my attention for a day now. I bought this game for $2 and I haven't stopped playing, and that's saying something since I just bought Elden Ring on the same day. The game is pretty simple and an arcade realistic racer. Yeah, you heard that right, arcade realism. The game, while playing sort of like a racing sim, is also very arcade-like in its main career and gameplay. Speaking of that main career mode, let's talk about how bad it is. It's actually hard to say whether this game should get a good rating. While I love how the game plays and everything about it, the main modes are extremely bad. So, in WRC 6 we have a career mode, and while just like other sport titles, you can experience what it would be like to be in that specific position. Although, unlike other games, you don't get to customize your car, team, or even what you're playing. The game takes what it should be to the bare necessities and just doesn't deliver. Essentially, you select your mode and then you select your contract. And no, you don't get money, and no, you can't select a car, and no, you don't select which map or what stage of your career you're in. You can't select what you look like or design the cars with decals, or let alone change the color. There is nothing that this mode brings to the table other than racing in sets of 3. But other than that, this mode gets boring after you finally reach the World Championship. And while you start from the beginning, there is nothing that the game gives you to acknowledge your progression. This is no more seen than the lack of currency. The bare necessities of a career mode would be to have cash, where the races you do slowly get harder and you slowly upgrade your vehicle. Otherwise, the game doesn't have an arc. There's nothing to do. The contracts themselves are extremely basic. You can choose, let's say, one of 3 options. Each has a set team, speed, and car. The thing is, without taking into account the car's speed, these contracts don't mean anything. They don't mean more money or difficulty or even cars and teams. You just race over and over until they increase your rank. And while it's cool to see every location that the game will throw at you, from France to China, New Zealand to Japan. No, wait, that's a lyric to a song. Even with all these problems, the game is still fun. Just not in the story department. It would have been nice to have a fun story where we start as a new racer, slowly get bigger and earn more money, eventually making it to the WRC. Instead, we race. Now that's not always bad. Some games can just be that, a racer, but it's really weird to have a non-career career mode, especially for a simulator game. But just like I mentioned, it's more like an arcade racer than that of something like F1, where I assume you can obtain money, upgrade, and manage your teams, and actually do what F1 racers do. Now there are a couple of other things to do, like racing. No, I mean that's it. You can quick game, career, or custom championship. Now that just means the same as career. It's a little embarrassing to have literally nothing for a campaign or career, but where this game actually has a chance to make a good impression is the racing. The game takes something like NASCAR, a game where racing in straight lines is the legal and only way to play, but adds great physics. But it takes you for a ride to do some really cool locations and physics. So, starting a race is simple. You have a few seconds to rev up your engine and then the light goes, and you're off. Controls feel slick and responsive, and this game is insanely fun to play. The ability to turn corners perfectly or speed down straightaways. The different courses where you could have snow or ice, gravel or tarmac, or even a rainy day. The game does a hell of a good job with the environment. Just how the car accelerates and brakes is just perfect. I really like the way the driving feels, and that's of course the way it should be. The game would be rated so much worse if the driving just wasn't this good. The game has some of the best driving mechanics, and that's saying a lot. Taking corners is the perfect balance between easy and hard. You can't just hold down your brakes or handbrake to round a corner. Well, I mean you can, but you're definitely going off that cliff. But learning how to take a corner fast, quick, and easy takes a bit of practice. But when you do, you could do something beautiful. To turn around corners, you need to brake, then hold the handbrake to flip the back end around. But this is where you can make a mistake. Holding the handbrake for too long will spin the car around, and just letting go will have you go too far or spending too long braking. You have to accelerate after letting go. That way the force of the spin will blossom to speed. This kind of driving is exactly what makes the game replayable, and it's something that I wonder if other games carry the same weight. The game came out in 2017, and these graphics are a little cheap. So cheap I hung the graphics on the wall. Well, I mean, they got low frame rates. Okay, yeah, that didn't really work. The graphics aren't terrible. Now maybe it's the PS5, but this game looks better than most games releasing, like Elden Ring. Axeman, don't you do it, man. But otherwise, the game looks pretty decent. You have a few different camera angles, including inside the car, so enjoy that at night. I'm running out of things to talk about. That's how little content is in this game. Okay. The messages are at the top are pretty good, but this dude gets annoying.
Left 3, over crest, keep in, into flat right, tightens 2, don't cut, keep in, left 3, 30.
While there was a multiplayer mode during the games, the game has been taken offline due to it being from 2016. Though the game does let you access the online modes, I just couldn't find a match. Though let's be honest here, who wants to play a rally racing game online? So that might be a deal breaker for you, but let's be honest here. Okay, so that's that. The game is a super simple racing game, but sometimes that's just what you want. Games these days are bloated. Open worlds here and there plague each and every game that comes out these days. And even though this game came out in 2017, it's just nice to play a game that I can enjoy that isn't 60 hours long. Yes, I'm looking at you, Elden Ring. No, I don't hate that game. But is this game good? Well, that's hard to say. Without a career mode, that's good. And with a very little reason to keep playing past the first initial hours of fun. And so it's hard to reason a score. But I think this game deserves a 7.2 out of 10. While there is that lack of content, the core gameplay is strong enough to snag a good score. And that's the video. If you want to see more episodes, then let me know down below on what you want to see next. And yes, I am working on the Balloons Tower Defense video. I just need a lot of time. I love you guys. Stay intelligent.